Hey everybody. We're going to start something a little new today. We're going to try this out. This is a design I'm still working on for a Hollows fight that is something that I know Grant Howitt and Rowan Rook and Deckard tried previously, which is kind of an inside-out fight where you have the hunters starting in the center and entities and creatures and bad guys spawning on the outside and coming in. So the premise of this fight is that essentially there is a fort, like a child's fort that the hunters have found, and there's a note from that looks like it was written by a child saying that they're worried about the creatures that come from the forest whenever their cat goes hunting. And so that's essentially what's going to happen here. The goal of the fight is for the hunters to survive 10 rounds of this onslaught. And you can see here I've got 5 health for the fort. So in order to win the fight, at least one hunter has to survive, and the fort has to have at least 1 health left. So I've tried this out at 4 players, and it works really well. And this is my first try at getting it to work in a 3-player mode. I think it's going to be a little tougher to balance because, again, one thing goes wrong, and you're a little bit stuck. So let's talk a little bit about what the premise is, aside from what I've talked about. So the 5 health on the fort, we got that. The hunters start out in the entity space. They can move anywhere they like except for the support zone. And what you see on the outside edges here are the hordes of creatures. So we've got them marked as green numbers or as red numbers. Playing this in the real world, which is where you should play most of your games, I'm going to use this with D10s, where every one of these represents a horde of creatures, where the number is how many creatures there are in the horde. The green ones are called creepers, and they're essentially are writhing insectoid abominations. Say that 5 times fast. And the red ones are horrors. Horrors are fleshy monstrosities with too many limbs, horrible features, and they never stop screaming. So, a little bit of a serious Sam vibe there, except that think about a giant pile of flesh with too many limbs clawing its way forward, as opposed to a tall, buff, shirtless guy holding a bomb. Anyway, the big differences between these, aside from the colors, are they all have the same defenses. They both defend at close at 8, they defend ranged at 9, and they defend weird at 7. The attacks hit a little bit harder for the horrors. They're going to attack with a target number of 10 plus X, and I'll talk about that. Whereas the creepers attack at a target number of 8 plus X. Creepers, you defend using either your quick or your sharp. So essentially, the more agile backliners will have an easier time defending against these, whereas the horrors you'll defend with strong or hard. So they're a little bit tougher. They're a little more relentless, and you want your tankier folks to be blocking those. And we talked about X, where again, the larger the size of the horde, the harder they're going to hit. Again, the defense is the same when you're attacking them, but for a standard creeper attack, it'll be 1 plus X / 1 plus X. So the same damage regardless of whether it does resolve or wounds. X is going to be the size of the horde divided by 3 rounded down. So size 1 is just going to deal 1 / 1. Size 2, 1 / 1. Size 3 will deal 2 / 2. So it's in your best interest to try to get these guys down before they grow up into bigger and bigger hordes. All right. The horrors, it's going to be 1 plus X, 1 plus X as well, but their size is going to be their X is going to be the size of the horde divided by 2. So a 2-sized horror is going to be hitting at 2 / 2, and again, that target number of 10 is going to play in there. The other important thing is that the creepers can be hit by any damage. So a standard success will essentially deal damage to it. When you deal damage, you simply reduce the horde by the number that you've done damage to it. So if you have a 4 horde and you deal 3 damage, it goes down to a 1. Right? Horrors are painful to defend against because the only way to reduce them or to damage them or to kill them is to deal wound damage. So that means they're going to have to get a superior success, when you're attacking these, or a critical success. All right. If you can't do it, well, it's going to stay there. And on the entity's turn, the entity is always going to start the fight, and their turn is always going to have 5 steps that we'll go into. All right. First of all, we'll increment the round counter. So we're going to start off our first round of the fight. All right. And again, if we get down to the end of the entity's turn and it's round 10, and the hunters are still alive, and the fort is still alive, the hunters win. Next thing that'll happen, any hordes that are in close will attack the haven. All right. And they will deal their damage to the haven. And the good news, that's the bad news, right? Obviously, as these hordes get bigger and bigger, they'll have more and more opportunities to kill the haven. The good news is any hunter that's co-located with a horde in close can defend it, meaning instead of the horde attacking the haven, the horde will attack the hunter. And it'll be the standard type of thing, where on a superior or critical success, the hunter takes no damage. On a standard success, the hunter will take the resolve damage, and on a failure, the hunter will take the wound damage. All right, so that's the first thing. Hordes in close attack. Second thing, hordes in ranged will advance. All right, any horde that's in range will try to move 1 space forward. So range left will go to flank left, range front to front, and so on and so forth. All right, a hunter that is either on that spot or adjacent to that spot. So if a ranged left horde is coming in, it can be defended by a hunter either in range left, flank left, or ranged front. And they basically say, I'm going to try to block it. Same thing, the horde will try to make an attack. Right? And on a standard success, the horde deals its resolve damage, but fails to advance. Right? On a critical success, you will defeat the horde. Right? That doesn't happen all that often, but it's really satisfying, and I wanted to keep that in there. On a superior success, the horde deals no damage and fails to advance. And on a failure, the hunter is not going to take any damage, but the horde will advance. So they basically get to move right past them, right up against the haven. All right, so we've got the round counter. We've had the attacks in front. We've had the movement for the guys in back. And now we talk about the spawns. All right, and every round, a number of creatures are going to spawn around this ranged ring based on what round it is. And for a 3-player fight, it's a little bit weird. I'll talk a little bit about the math here, but this seems to be the best thing it does. First of all, you'll figure out what's the size of the horror hordes that are going to spawn in. And that's always going to be the round number divided by 2, rounded down. So in round 1, no horrors come in. Then we're going to look at the number of creeps. And for a 3-player game, it'll be the round number plus 1 minus however many horrors are spawning. So a creep spawn of 2 means I've essentially got 2 points as the GM that I can use. So I can choose, for example, to spawn 1 here and 1 here. Or I could choose to spawn 2 in a single zone. And that's really just that's all there is to it, right? You essentially want to set these guys up so that the hunters have some interesting choices to make around how they're going to move in and defend these things. All right? So we've done that. And then, as always, we will check our victory or defeat condition. It's round 1, so there is none. And then we're going to have the entity add the 2 threat. So again, we have a threat cap of 13. I actually need to update that. A threat cap of 13, and every round the entity is going to put 2 threat. We're going to go ahead and say we're going to put them both over here on ranged right, because there's no monsters there. I want the hunters to be thinking about this. So why do we care? What can we do with the threat? Well, one thing, you can always use it the standard way that you would do in a hollow, right? You can use it to increase the target number on a hunter's attack or on a hunter's defense, right? And especially when they're attacking those horror hordes, that's a really, really important resource to keep an eye on, right? The other thing, though, is as a standard interrupt, we have 1 interrupt in this, which is called From the Ground Itself. And you can spend threat in order to increase the size of an existing horde. All right. Now, you can't spend it to make a horde where there is no horde, but how this works is in a range zone, you can add 1 to the size of an existing horde for every threat you spend in the interrupt. So if we have a 1 there, you burn these 2 threat, it turns into a 3 right away. Right? So you're not doing that during the entity's turn. That's only as an interrupt. And again, you can only do that once for every hunter's turn. All right. In close, you have to basically add x minus 1 in order to add to the size of a creeper horde, right? So if I've got a creeper horde of 2 and I want to bump it up to 3, I've got to spend 2 more, right? So the first one you spend in close is essentially lost, all right? And then finally, if you want to increase the size of a horror horde, that's going to be the threat divided by 2. So if I've got a horror horde over here and right, spoiler alert, I'm going to sometime soon. If I burn both of these threat, it'll change it from a 1 to a 2. All right, that's essentially the mechanic. So I've done this in a couple of different ways, and I've tried a couple of different types of fighters. What we have in this fight, I've got, and these are these are actually hunters that other people have used in playtests with me. So thank you to the people who have contributed those. So we have Verko. Verko is a member of the Crown who is wielding the staff and the bludgeon. It's the ornate staff, meaning that he can actually use that to make ranged attacks, very handy in this case. And if he gets in flank or rear with a bludgeon, it'll hit at 2-3. The abilities that Verko took, he took Wellspring. Once around, when you miss with one of your attacks, a hunter in your area can restore a resolve. And he's got Arrogant. When you would discard a terrain tag, you can give it to another hunter. That one I'm not sure about. That might not be as awesome. But then the tier 2, again, we're using Fight Club rules here to test this out. Spiteful. When you inflict resolve damage, you can restore resolve damage equal to half the amount you inflicted. So again, this is a war of attrition, and I figured it would be good for these guys to have the opportunity to help kind of heal themselves up. All right, next up we've got the Nameless. Nameless, who I believe is also known as Taserface, but we're not going to get there. Classic glass cannon. It's got set up with a super high sharp ability, but essentially is that's what he has going for him. He's got 4 resolve and 6 wounds. Using the shotgun and the book, I think the joke here is that he actually doesn't know how to read, so the book is essentially something that he just kind of fakes reading out of. Sawed-off shotgun, so he does get rolling with advantage when he's attacking in close. He took Kicking and Screaming. Essentially, if when you're reloading, you get to make an immediate 1/1 attack with hard. And then Witness, once per round when you miss, you can focus as an immediate action. And then when you inflict damage, you can restore it from yourself. Again, wound is 1 wound. If you inflict any resolve, you restore 2 resolve. So again, kind of keeping up that theme of giving people the ability to heal up. And then finally, we've got Rattlejack. Rattlejack is kind of a mixture. He also went with the obsessive setup, so he's very quick. He's not very smart. He's not very observant. He's using the spear and the bludgeon. It's a long spear, so it's going to make use of that quick with a 3-2 attack at close. And the bludgeon, which is going to be vicious, 2-2, but again 2-3 if you attack in flank or rear. And that's kind of your fallback here. He's only got a 10 strong, so you really don't want to use this if you don't have to. I'm not sure why you would have to, but primarily had that in there just for an easy access to terrain tags that you can then throw out to soak up more of the damage. Tier 1 ability, Pierce. When you're in flank, inflict +0/+1. Again, my goal here is to park him in flank and just keep those attack stats with the spear at 3-3. Right, and then calculating, if you miss with an attack, you can inflict 1 resolve damage to the entity as an immediate action, right? Which is pretty great. And I'm saying that basically that's against the horde that you are attacking. You can't just do it anywhere on the map. And then drive back. After you inflict wound damage, you can reposition any number of hunters in close. And I think that's going to be key. But I've been wrong before, so let's see how it goes. So with that, that's our setup. And let's go ahead and kick things off. And let's say that we did our first spawn round. This is exactly how I want to do it. We have the first 2 things have spawned. There was no one there to attack. There was no one there to advance. So that's it for the entity's turn. So what are we going to do? We're going to have Verko go ahead and just position himself in left, and he's going to take a shot on this guy with his bludgeon. So he's going to attack with strong. Verko going with strong and close. Entity's defense is 8. Let's see how it looks. It's a success. All right, so he has killed the very first insectile creature. I'm sure it makes a horrible squishing sound when it goes down. Add a threat to the zone because he inflicted the damage. And he's got another thing he can do. He's going to go ahead and get focus. So we'll go ahead and let him focus up. And then at the end of the turn, because he's a bludgeon user, he can go ahead and take shelter for free. So he's going to do that. I think again, he's likely to get rid of it at some point, but you never know, and you want to give him the option of being able to use it to soak up a bunch of damage if a bunch of damage comes in. All right, so that's Verko's turn. Next up, we're going to have. Let's have Rattlejack go in. He's going to do the same thing. Actually, no. Rattlejack wants to be in flank, so he's going to go after the Nameless. So the Nameless is going to jump in. He's got the shotgun. The Nameless, sharp of 17 against a close target of 8. He gets to do that with advantage. He usually doesn't need it. Lo and behold, it's a success. So once again, that guy goes down. And we put a threat in there. And he's going to go ahead and just reload right away. He's going to be the only range character, and so we need to make sure we're very careful about managing his stats. And then Rattlejack is going to park himself in flank, and again, I'll just make sure that I keep track of this for funsies. So that is now his stat, as long as he doesn't move out of there. He's going to go ahead and give himself a focus as well. And then at the end of the round, he's going to take shelter. And again, you assume that it fails when you're using the bludgeon, so we get a threat token in his area. And that's the end of round 1. All right? Looks easy. There's going to be no problem for the hunters at all. So we're moving on to round 2. Round 2, we're going to get our very first horror. And as it was foretold, I'm going to go ahead and put that horror right over here and ranged right to see what happens. All right, and then we've got 2 more creeps coming in. I'm going to go ahead and actually just, instead of spawning 2 single ones, I'm going to spawn a slightly larger creep horde over and left. All right, there was nothing to attack, there's nothing to advance, so we move on to the hunter's turn. So the way that we've got close and ranged, you guys probably intuited this already. Close means anything that's adjacent to you. Ranged means anywhere else on the grid. So we'll go ahead and have we will have Taser go ahead and focus up first, and then he's going to use his focus to try to make a shot on this guy over here. So the Nameless is going to attack against a ranged defense of 9. He's going to roll twice. Superior success, doesn't need to roll again. So that's going to take out my really cool thing. So I don't get to spend my threat to make it bigger, which is too bad. That would have been a lot of fun. All right. So he focused and he used his attack. He is now out of ammunition. So I'll go ahead and mark that just to help me keep that in mind. That's his turn. Verko is going to go ahead and make his attack on the 2 creep and left. So he's got a strong of 14 for using his bludgeon. Defense is 8. Going to go ahead and roll it once, but I don't think we're going to need. Oh, okay, cool. So apparently we do need to use the focus on that, but we didn't. We didn't do it. So he's failed. He's whiffed it. And I think as far as what else we want him to do, he's already got focus. He's already got sheltered. He hasn't taken any damage. Do we move him around? I don't think we do. I think we want to leave him there. So I think he just takes the 1 action. And that's one downside of this fight, is that you can get early on. There's a lot of opportunities for nothing to happen. All right. And then Rattlejack is, again, he's got focus. He's got shelter. There's not a lot for him to do this turn. So I think he's actually going to move out to ranged. And he's going to lose his terrain, but he's going to take it right back again. And he's going to go ahead and take the resolve, because while he's out in the range, he doesn't want. Oops, that's the Nameless. He doesn't want to add more threat there, because that's where the bad stuff comes from. All right, It's Hunter's turn. We're on to round 3. We're not going to go through the whole thing here, but just give you guys a sense. So now we do have a horde that is going to advance. So Verko has said, okay, I'm going to defend this. This is a horde of 2, so it's going to attack with a target number of 8. And he would be able to defend with quick or sharp. His sharp is pretty darn good. He's got a 14, so he'll go ahead and do this. He's going to use his... No, he's not going to use his focus. He's got a superior success, so he takes no damage whatsoever, and he blocks the advance from the horde. So he's fine. Now we're on to spawning. We're at round 3, so again, we do get 1 horror. Let's go ahead and drop the horror. This is going to be interesting. Let's drop the horror right here, and then I've got 3 creeps. I'm going to put 1 on top of the 2. And it's going to make it a 3, he said. Beautiful. And then we've got 2. We'll go ahead and put the 2 right there on top of Rattlejack. All right. That's the end of the enemy turn. Hunter's turn. We're going to have... Taser is going to go ahead and reload, first of all. So... He's done it. He's got a shot, and he's going to go ahead and take a shot at the... I guess he's going to take a shot at the horror over and left. So let's go ahead and let him do that. It's a 9 defense. Superior success once again. He's super good at this. So we take that guy out. He gets another one of these threat tokens on here. Okay. I just realized I did not put my threat on the map from the last time, so let's go ahead and do that. And now, actually, as an interrupt, I'm going to have the entity is going to go ahead and spend both of these to make this 2 into a 4. Right? Again, not probably fine, no big deal, but we just want to make sure that we keep these guys growing as much as I can. All right. So that was Taser. So he reloaded. He took a shot. He's out of juice yet again. The life of a shotgun user. Verko is going to go ahead and take a shot at the 3 horde. Even though it's a bigger horde, it's still going to be a standard 8 defense. So we go ahead and do that. Strong, a 14 versus an 8. Critical success. All right, so he's going to do his standard damage. Again, he was attacking with the bludgeon again, so it's going to be 2 plus 2. It's 4. He's done it. He's wiped the guy out. And so, again, he gets another cheeky little threat token. And then finally, Rattlejack is going to attack the 4. He is up in close, so he's going to be doing that with his strong... No, not with his strong. He's going to be attacking with the spear. What the hell's wrong with me? So, let's go ahead and do a spear. It's co-located. He does have focus, yeah. He does. He's going to go ahead and use the focus because I really want a chance at a critical. So I'm going to roll twice. Superior success. That's a good start. Standard success. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so the 4 goes down to 1. That's fine. We can work with that. We add a threat to Rattlejack's base, and you can see that the threat is it gets ready to it starts running out really quick. All right. So that's the Hunter's turn. We're moving on to round 4. Round 4. All right, let's go ahead and do this, guys. So the 1 creep is going to advance on Rattlejack. Rattlejack is going to defend target number 8 with his quick. He doesn't have a focus. He's fine. I'm sure he is fine. It's standard success, so he's going to take the 1 resolve damage. So the second hunter damage comes on in. Then we're going to have spawning happen. Round 4. We have 2 horrors coming in. Let's go ahead and give other people a couple things to do. So let's actually have 1 horror coming out here. Let's have 1 horror coming out here. And then we got 3 creeps. We're going to go ahead and put 2 of them here. So we've got Rattlejack standing on top of a pile of 3 bugs. And let's go ahead and give the nameless one, Taserface, 1 to fight on his own. All right. That's the end of round 4. Hunters go again. Let's start this time with Rattlejack. Rattlejack's going to go ahead and reload. And as part of his reload, he gets a heart attack. So his heart attack is 1-1 against a close target, and that's going to be 8. It's not a game at all. It's a machine that says 8. Only gets to roll once. It is a failure. So he doesn't manage to squash the bug with the butt of his gun, but then he is going to give his best shot to try to get the. Actually, wait a minute. I have to check something on the nameless one. With the shotgun. Okay. Well, let's see. So the 1/1 attack with hard, that is a shotgun attack. So he's going to get to do that with advantage. See how I am? See how kind I am to the players? Failed anyway. Suck it. All right. No attacks. So he's now going to take his shotgun, and now that he's peeved, he's going to go ahead and take a shot at the horror. Superior success. That's enough. He doesn't need to roll again because he can only ever do as much damage as there is. So he is now awash in a sea of tokens. That's the end of his turn. He is once again out of ammunition. Rattlejack is going to take a shot with his 3/3 spear at the co-located guy here, and hoping that we can. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so that's done it. That's wiped him out altogether. We got another threat over here on Rattlejack. He's going to go ahead and focus up again. So he's okay. He had focus. Fine. He's fine. Don't worry about it. And then Verko is going to take a shot at his horror, and it's going to be again a strong attack. Target number of 8. Standard success. Standard success doesn't do it. So Verko's whiffed it. If we say that he went back retrospectively and used his focus, do I ever let my players do that? Sometimes I let my players do that. I shouldn't do that. I should be trying harder to murder them, but it doesn't matter. He's whiffed it. He's absolutely just fallen in the dirt. And so fine, no problem. So that's the end of everyone's turns, I believe. So, no horrors attack, horrors advance. So this guy is coming in now. Actually, oh no! At the end of his turn, I am going to spend this 2 threat, and I'm going to go ahead and replace this little horrible thing with a slightly bigger horrible thing. So now, when this guy is attacking and Verko's trying to defend, he's got to defend with strong or hard. He's more strong than he is hard, so we'll leave it there. But the target number is going to be 10 plus 1, so it's going to be a target number of 11. A little tougher. Let's go ahead and see how that goes. It's a critical failure. Oof. Okay, so he is going to go ahead and take the 1/2 wound damage. Look at that. Look at that. He's not doing so good. But we have time. We have time for him to come back. All right, we have the little 1/1 creep coming in, and the nameless one's going to defend that target number of 8. Rolling the sharp of 17. It's a success. It's fine. He is going to take 1 resolve damage for that. Does he mind? I don't think he minds. And that's all of it we have for advancing. Now we're going to go ahead and do the spawning. Again, this is... I didn't even update this. Okay, this is round 5. So 2 horror, 4 creep. Let's go ahead and... I think this is the way to do it. We're going to go ahead and take 1 of the horror and put it over here. He said, cleverly dragging icons around. We're going to let the nameless one fight this guy. And then of the 4 creeps, we're going to do 3 back on Rattlejack. And we're going to do 1 more over on left. Okay? Hunter's turn again. We're going to go ahead and start off this time with the nameless one. He's going to reload, make his 1/1 hard attack. Let's see how it goes. Nope, not so good. And then he's going to take a shot. He's going to go ahead and shoot his guy. He's got advantage because he's in close. Let's do 1. Nope. Let's do again. Okay. So out of ammo, and no, we're going to redo that because he doesn't shoot with he doesn't shoot with quick. He shoots with sharp. Okay. Number 1. It's a failure. Number 2. It's a standard success. Okay. So standard success once again doesn't do it. So he's out of ammunition and out of options here. We'll have Rattlejack go ahead and do his quick attack 3/3 against this guy again. At the end of his turn, I'm going to go ahead and spend the 2 threat. And I'm pretty sure I'm not giving myself the right threat at the end of every round. It's another thing I need to get better about remembering in order to make this 3 into a 4. make him slightly harder for Rattlejack to just outright kill. So let's go ahead and do this. He's doing this not with focus. Superior success, that's fine. So it's down from 4 to 1. And then I think that's all Rattlejack wants to do. And then Verko over and left is going to go for the big boy. I don't know if that's good, if that's his shot, but I think he's getting to the point where we really need to think about taking that guy out. So target is 8. Let's see how it goes. No, he doesn't do it. Okay. Let's say he and then he takes a focus token because he didn't take it last time. And that's the end of their turn. Now it's time for round number 6. Let's see how things go. We're going to do one more of these and then I'll call the video. No one attacks the core. We have Verko is going to defend on the 3, which again is going to be his strong. It's a target number of 10, 11. Let's see how it goes. Superior success. Nice, he's done it. And then he's going to use his sharp to block the 1 creep, which is only a target number of 8. Superior success again. So no damage. He's just standing there. He has a wall against all the bugs. Nameless one is going to go ahead and do his... let's see. He's going to do a strong defense against the horror. So that's going to be a target number of 10 coming in. Let's see how that goes. It's a fail. Now on the fail, on an advance, he doesn't actually take damage, but this guy comes in. And you notice this guy is now sitting on a bunch of threat. So I can use that to make this go up from a 1 to a 3, which is really bad news for the Haven coming forward. Finally, he's going to try to move forward. Let's see how it goes. So we're going to have Rattlejack do a block on quick with target number of 8. Superior success, so nothing happens. We'll go ahead and stop there. Hopefully this gives you an idea of how the fight should play out. Please like and subscribe is what I would say if I was a streamer, which I'm not.